opening parliament on Tuesday, members of parliament from the opposition, NASA, boycotted. This, of course, was a first. And, well, let's just refresh our memories on what specifically happened.
Our MPs will not be party to any parliamentary proceedings or House committees because the houses as are currently constituted are devoid of any legality, and will treat them as Jubilee parliamentary groupings and group meetings.
All right, and that was one of the NASA principals, Moses Wetangula, basically saying that we're going to boycott. And let me first of all take a call from Ernest in Mombasa. Good morning, Ernest. Thank you for calling. To your comment or question.
Good morning, Mr. Tonga. Thank you for giving me this chance.
Welcome.
First, I wanted to talk about the issue Aden Duale is raising. And I think that Aden Duale is living in the past. I actually come from Homa Bay, and I've got so many people from Somali who live in Homa Bay, work in Homa Bay, very friendly, peaceful people. Somalis are all over the world, US, UK. And I think Duale is living in the past. I think I know of a Somali MP from Luo land, speaks very good Luo, and maybe other parts of the country. So him bringing people from his area and claiming that Raila, for some reason, is against the Somali, that's really rubbish. And when Oswago, the former CEO of IABC, was being reprimanded by not least Raila himself, I don't think that Duale was in opposition. I mean, so I think Duale should just think about a petition coming up from his backyard. Now, you asked the Honorable Mheshimiwa there, Amisi, about the difference between him being an MP and the rogue elections, presidential elections that was carried out. And just to add on to that, we have a record 280 petitions that are coming up. And that's just to show that it was all a sham. So I think that what the Chief Justice did has given this country some sort of temperance and peace. And we need to go that way, so it is the right of NASA to go back to court. That's what civilized people do. And I think that if we do it any other way, that is not civilization. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest from Mombasa. Let's also listen in to Aiden from Maua. Good morning. Thank you for calling, Aiden. To your question or comment.
Hello.
Hello.
Mimi nasema, mimi naona Aden Duale anasema, sisi ati Raila tutapeleke kwa msikiti sijui nini kitu kama hiyo.
Endelea, lakini tafadhali weka runinga off.
Sasa yeye kama yeye ni mtu ya dini, yeye angefaa kufuata dini, aangalie haki.
Okay.
Koti naye imeamua. Halo.
Nakusikiza, endelea.
Koti naye imeamua haki. Mwambie Aden Duale kama wewe ni kiongozi yetu, vile saa yeye anaongea ni uongo, sisi hatuwezi ongea mkono, na akienda msikiti akiatangaza ati Raila ni adui ya Wasomali, hiyo ni urongo yako, wewe mwenyewe umeibiwa, hakuna kura umepata, sisi hatukutaki, maneno yako hatutaki, maneno hata msikiti mwambie hata asikaribie hata msikiti.
Aya, sawa, asante sana Eden kutoka Maua. Let's also hear from Dan in Nairobi. Thank you for calling, Dan.
Morning, Mike.
Morning.
We need to be sincere to each other, Mike. What are the reasons why we're going for election on 17th of October? The reasons are that the election on 8th was bungled. And this was not about the machines. This was not about the computers we used. This is about the individuals who actually conducted this election. We need to be sincere to each other. And in countries that have developed, in countries that believe in democracy, when a situation like the one that happened, the IBC happens, the best thing the officials do is to resign. I will give you a practical example in India. When we had a situation with the transport sector, the railway sector, the minister had to resign. He did not resign because he was the person driving the
train.
The train. Mm-hmm. He resigned because he took responsibility because the ministry under which this train belongs to was under him. And this is the same thing that should happen. And these are questions we keep on asking, Mike. How are we going to an election with the same individuals who bungled the 8th election? How do you conduct business with these individuals? And when you hear people like Aden Duale talk, you get to understand, you get a feeling that they don't come from this country. I mean, already the country is divided half. And we need the Kenyans to be able to move together. And the best way to do this is to ensure that you conduct a credible election. You cannot conduct that credible election with the current IBC, especially the secretary that was given a responsibility to be able to steer this country forward. I mean, Mike, it is something that anybody out there can be able to see that the election was bungled, and there is need for us to be able to discuss and see how best we can come out of this so that we have an election that is acceptable by every individual in this country.
Thank you very much, Dan in Nairobi. Very passionate views there. And I guess that's in response to the question that we had asked earlier on, whether you agree with NASA going to court to have specific individuals within the IEBC charged. And possibly your comments still coming in. We have Jacob Zuma Otiende who says from Ojola Kisumu, they should face the law and to be an example to the rest. Philemon Arab Manuel says, yes, Chiloba crashed our bus and killed passengers. Now he wants to drive an ambulance with the survivors. Wow, very passionate comments coming there. But what we had listened to earlier on was also the boycott, and we are on State of the Nation. It was also the boycott by members of parliament not attending the opening ceremony of the 12th parliament. And I have with me Caleb Amisi, who is a member of parliament for Saboti. There were 2 members of parliament that attended. Did you? You did not attend? I did not attend. Your reasons for not attending?
Yes, we have reasons why we didn't attend as NASA.
Yours specifically?
No, we operate in a coalition of parties, and we have to respect our party stand.
Okay.
Even individually, we feel that right now where we are, the term of the presidents, we are not saying we don't have a president. We need to be very clear from the onset. We have a president, yes, but he's a president who is limited in certain powers.
But in his limitation, he's not limited to addressing Parliament on the first session, is
I think next time you must carry a constitution with
I have
you,
the constitution here with
me. So you can
me.
also read. But let me
I have the constitution here with me, and that's according to Article 134 of the Constitution.
In that constitution, as much as you are reading, it shows you clearly the term of a president is 5 years. And it ends immediately the first voter comes up in the morning to vote, to cast his vote.
I think that might be different, because then we would not be referring to him as the president of Kenya.
He is still the president, remember. He's still the president.
Absolutely.
Now, within that time, that's where I'm approaching. The first voter comes out in the morning of 8th to vote. That's when the term ends. And during that period, it is called temporary incumbency. You are there as a president, yes, but there are certain powers, like you can't even, the president as he is now, he cannot even fire his own cabinet secretaries.
And those are some of the limits. But according to as per the limits, opening Parliament is not one of those things he's limited to. Legally, he is allowed to do that.
Okay, so what are those things that he's supposed to do in that period? Why are you saying this is the only one he's supposed to do? Is it that opening Parliament is the only powers he has?
It's not the only powers he has, but what I'm trying to get from you
must
is,
know
first
the
of all,
interpretation. And that's why you need maybe the Supreme Court to come in and interpret for you. You must know the interpretation. There are people who serve in this country in acting capacity. Like a cabinet secretary can come and say, for example, we have a cabinet secretary in acting capacity of Ministry of Interior, who is Matiang'i. There are certain powers Matiang'i cannot do because
there are also certain powers that he still has.
So what are those powers? You need to come out clearly. Is opening Parliament one of the powers? Now, what the president needs to come out and say, hey, listen, we never envisaged such a scenario, where maybe the drafters of this constitution never envisaged such a scenario. But we are in a situation whereby you are going to address elected leaders and you are not elected. So whoever comes to open the parliament is an elected president. It's not a president who is serving. And a temporary president may not even be Uhuru. For example, maybe a president is incapacitated, is seriously sick, he can't perform any duties. Now, there will be a caretaker president, either maybe the speaker or the vice president.
Deputy president.
Now, the deputy president cannot come to parliament to open because he's not the president, he's not the elected president. But the deputy president can receive visitors in State House, can be in State House, can come address the nation on the behalf of the president. But the deputy president cannot go to parliament to open the parliament officially because he's in acting capacity. He's a caretaker government. He's a caretaker president. He's in exercising what we call temporary incumbents. So those are the powers that lies within. So the parliament was convened illegally. It was not supposed to be. Mark you, there is enough time. It's not that there is a threshold of time that you have to have opened the parliament within this period of time. There is time. Let's finish the election. Let's get a president. If it is Uhuru who is going to be elected, fine, he'll come and open for us the parliament and we'll go. If it is Raila, he'll come and open for us the parliament and we'll go. All we are saying that let us not convene an illegal gathering. And that's why we said that was not a parliament session. That was
So
a PG.
As far as you're concerned, that was an illegal gathering?
It was an illegal gathering. On the grounds that it is not legitimate at this point in time. Remember, he's holding that position on temporary incumbents. So he is not supposed to perform the powers of a president, as it were. When the parliament convened and we were told the president is requesting us to go, we thought this is maybe a parliamentary grouping of Jubilee MPs. And yes, they were there. And they talked their campaign manifestos. Remember, when a president comes to open the first sitting of a parliament, it is a norm. The president opens the first sitting of the parliament. He's supposed to come and share the plan he has for the next 5 years.
For the plan his government has.
His government he has for the next 5 years. Now, what are you sharing and you want to be elected? You're actually going in an election. You are in a campaign period. What are you sharing with the members of parliament?
Okay.
You are now, once we have concluded our campaigns in the next few weeks, Raila is elected.
Would it be
I want to give you this scenario. The president has opened the parliament. Now Raila gets elected on 17th of October. He needs to come and open the parliament as a president. So what will have Uhuru done when he was opening the parliament? Because Raila, as a president now, he needs to come and open the parliament officially and share with the legislators his plan for the next 5 years.
Okay.
So we will be doing
it will be a repeat.
Yes,
but I guess, well, let me take a call
so
from
there is
Bungoma.
a loophole. There is a loophole that the president has used, and I know it's illegal, and he knows it, but he just wants to play politics.
I'm not sure about it being illegal,
He
but
knows.
we can say that out of the spirit of the Constitution, it would have been okay to it because there would have been nothing that would happen between now and the 17th that cannot be done. But it's not illegal.
It can be done. It doesn't need to come there. The speaker can call the parliament to convene without the president, and we move on.
Okay.
And if eventually when he's elected as the official president of our country, he will come and open and the business will still go.
Let's take a call from Bungoma. Good morning, and to your comment or question. Geoffrey in Bungoma.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning too.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I want to go the issue with the Ed and Dwale. Like us, it's so painful sometimes. On the matter that he's talking about his people from Northeastern, just to defend his own people, their own people. But you can see they have committed a crime of hello?
Yes, carry on.
He has taken the nation into dilemma. Like the issue of Chepkati coming in and saying that we are now under one roof, but yet he has not convinced the Kenyans. Now, for my case is that let's IPC under chairman is a Chepkati to come clear and convince us Kenyans by saying that have solved these issues. So the lack of the questions that was raised by the chairman, IPC chairman, Mr. Chepkati, let them come clear with those questions, explain to the nation we hear where they have come from and reached, so that we ask the Kenyans get convinced by the chairman. Then I like the issue with Mr. Duale to avoid, it's like inciting our Kenyans, because when he says that Lady Raila Amolo Odinga not go to the Northeastern Africa, yes, our president has been talking more issues on concerning our judge who made with right and wisdoming decision to give the country.
Okay.
Yeah, hello.
All right, thank you, George. Let's now listen into Nicholas from Mavoko. Good morning, Nicholas, to your question or comment.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm calling from Mavoko. Nataka kuchangia kuhusu hii mambo ya Duale.
Aya, endelea.
Hii Duale hii nini president ameita inaonyesha ukabila. What we need is a just fair election and credible. Hii kuita Duale kuita fresh, hiyo ni kuonyesha ukabila, na kama mtu amefanya makosa abebe msalaba wake. Chilova kama amefanya makosa, it is good akae kando, tuwe na mwingine ambaye atakuwa fair kwa NASA na awe fair kwa Jubilee.
Aya, sawa. Asante sana, Nicholas from Mavoko, and we're going to be taking a short break shortly. But maybe if you'd like to just react to what they had to say there. We have Nicholas in Mavoko. Basically, Duale seems to have rubbed people the wrong way.
There are certain politicians in this country, I always I don't even mention their names, because I don't see any substance from since they were elected in up to now. I don't see any substance in them, and one of them is Duale and Moses Kuria. There are people I rather don't even talk about, because most of the time what comes out of their mouth is always hate, profiling, abuse. So they don't come out as the status of a leader in this country. They don't even offer any solution that are not aligned to their parties and they stand. So what Duale is trying to do is just to play politics in each and every issues in this country, which I don't think is fair. Sometimes we, as leaders, we need to come around and reason as a nation. We are guided by certain principles as leaders. You don't just come because you're a politician from this side, because it is a political season. Now you mention things. For example, what they are saying. When you are saying so and so must go, like for example, Ezra Chiroba actually comes from my constituency. Chepkati comes from my constituency. But I'm not defending him just because they come from my constituency. They have done something wrong. I could have been there, the first person protecting them. But I'm saying, hey, as much as you are my tribe mates, you come from my constituency.
If something is wrong, it's wrong. If
something is wrong, is wrong. Whether you are my relative, you are my tribe mates, we need to stand up as a nation on some values and say you are wrong, irrespective of where you come from, irrespective of my relationship with you, our background, notwithstanding, you are wrong, let's correct and move out. And the moment we come to this realization, the moment we will now start steering this nation in the right direction. I believe so.
Thank you very much. I think that would be a good place to close. Caleb Amisi, Member of Parliament for Saboti, thank you for joining us this morning. It is now 6 minutes to 8, and that is the state of the nation. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we've got more news and reviews, both locally and internationally. Do stay with us right here on KTN News. For now, those of us on KTN Home, it's time for Life and Style. So we say goodbye. For those of us on KTN News, we'll be right back in just a bit.